Would everyone please rise for the students' processional? While you remain standing, I would like to call upon Lexa Bobinek to sing O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Good morning, and welcome parents, family, friends, honored guests, and most importantly, our graduating class of 2015. My name is Yoan Matthews. I am a teacher at Springbank High School, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's celebration. To the parents, as I look out at you, I can tell that it is indeed a sad, sad day for many of you. There is turmoil and strife written all over your faces, and I think I know what it is. There are unanswered questions eating at you. Questions like, who will I pick up after? Whose laundry am I going to do? Whose lunches will I prepare? What am I going to do with all my free time? It is indeed a dilemma, but I am confident in saying that over time, maybe a support group meeting or two, you will manage to work your way through this. Have no fear. To the graduating class, thank you for inviting me to take on this role, providing me with the opportunity to be a part of your big day. You would think you'd heard enough of me talking in class already, and I'm sure many of you agree, but thank you all the same. To my biology students, you'll get this, and all the graduates, I can honestly say that I am not disappointed in you, but instead extremely proud of what you have accomplished thus far. Congratulations. Our first order of business this morning is greetings from the Rocky View School Board and our trustee, Mrs. Helen Cleese.
Well, good morning, everyone. Springbank graduating class of 2015, this is it. Graduation, the day you've worked so hard for. High school is over. Today, a day to celebrate, a day to reflect, and a day to dream. A day to look back, and a day to look forward. A day to laugh, and a day to cry almost at the same time. It's a day filled with emotion, happiness because you're done high school, and maybe a little sadness because you're done high school. Now, some of you may go off to university or college. You'll live away from home in a room that's probably smaller than your current bathroom. You'll have to do all your own laundry, do the cleaning, and be responsible for getting your own food. And some of you will start a job. Sounds special, right? Well, it is special because you begin making choices for yourself. You will determine your path, and you have mapped your journey. And when this day is over, it all becomes real. This is when the realization might hit you. It is you, and only you, who will determine what kind of person you become and what you will accomplish in your life. The path to your future is yours. You own it. But before you head to the future, take a moment and look back. For those who helped get you here today. Your parents, today is a crossroads for them too. They feel both pride and sadness, because the toys have long been put away, and your parents might have a hard time letting go, as they still think of you as the one who loved the nursery rhymes and the fairy tales. They remember things like reading you a bedtime story, playing games in the park, or just being silly. Things they gave up as you grew up. Now, someday you will look back and remember how special those times were and how those times represent the love from your family. Hang on to those memories. They will sustain you when you face life's challenges. And remember to still have fun and be silly. As C.S. Lewis once said, someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. Share your new journey with your family. Growing up does not mean growing apart. There will be times that you will need their love, their support, and I know from experience, and I say this every year, there are times you're going to need their cash. And I do speak from experience on that with my own 2 children. And remember to thank that teacher who went that extra mile, whose classroom door was always open, the one who put in countless hours because they cared about you. They've provided you with one of the most valuable items you will ever own. And it has been said that education is perhaps the only thing of value that cannot be stolen from you. It is a gift that continues to grow throughout your life. And what about your friends? Thank them because they've helped to shape who you are today. You have learned about everything together. You've laughed together and you've cried together. Hug them. Promise that you will keep in touch. And there will be times in your lives where you will wander from each other, but true friendship will always bring you back together. You all have a special bond. Your collective experience today is that you are entering the discovery of the unknown, your future. And if I was to give you any advice, it would simply be happy. Keep a positive outlook. Life will be full of happy and not so happy times. Embrace all of it. Experience the joy and learn from the hard times. Nothing is impossible. And if you feel that the load is too hard to carry, there's nothing wrong with asking for a little help. Remember to reach out to all of those who love you. And you know, we may plan our own future path, but we never have to walk it alone. Enjoy life, be present, and open to the moments that unfold before you. Because ultimately, your life is made up of all those moments. Don't miss them by being too hung up on the past or by being too focused on the future. Life is about balance. So here it is, the last page from the notebook you called high school. Notebooks filled with memories from the first day you walked into school to the last day at Springbank Community High. There will be new challenges, new friends, and new places, and you will all find the courage to take on those challenges. You will do it each in your own way, because we know that courage is not always loud or aggressive. It has been said that sometimes courage is that quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I can try again tomorrow. And everywhere you go, ask yourself, what will be your legacy? Will you leave things better than you found them? Remember that someone before us planted that tree that we find the shade under. So plant a few trees in your journey for those who follow behind you. And today, take in this moment. Remember the energy, the encouragement, and the love that is in this room today. Hang on to that special memory as you head out to make your mark on the world. On behalf of the Rocky View School Board of Trustees, I wish you all the best. The future is yours. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Cleese. Next, we have our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Don Hoyam, to bring greetings from the Senior Executive of Rocky View Schools.
Well, Trustee Cleese, Principal Davidson, Assistant Principals Frederick and Lyons, staff, guests, parents, and most importantly, our graduates. I'm here today to bring greetings and congratulations to each of our graduates on behalf of the staff and Senior Executive of Rocky View Schools. This is indeed an important day in the life of each graduate. It marks a major accomplishment in your educational career and is a significant achievement as you move into adulthood. Take a moment today to savor the experience. It is the only grade 12 graduation you will ever have. Take a look around at your fellow students and think of all the combined effort that it has taken for you to be here today. Know that the hard work you have undertaken throughout your school career was purposeful and has prepared you well for the next step in your life's journey. As you move forward with your dreams, also know that you are not alone. In addition to the ongoing support of your family and friends, you also carry the hopes and dreams of all the teachers, support staff, and administrators that you have had throughout your school career. And when you encounter challenges, and you will encounter challenges, remember that we are still with you in the form of the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that will lead you to a solution. So as you venture forth, have confidence knowing you are a graduate of Rocky View Schools and make Springbank Community High School proud. Congratulations again and best wishes in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Mr. Hoyam. Now we have our principal's message from Mrs. Davidson.
I've just given Mr. Matthews the gears because he might have just left you standing for the whole ceremony. He thinks it would be appropriate. Well, good morning, honored guests, Superintendent Hoyam, Trustee Cleese. What a wonderful looking bunch we've got here, haven't we? On behalf of the staff, it's my pleasure to welcome you here and offer a few words to the kids, but you're not kids anymore, to these fine young adults who are graduating with us today. But before I begin, there's one little order of business that I have to take care of. And it has become my thing because I have this really unique perspective right here. Keep the arrow straight. I'm shaking. Don't move. I'll tweet that out later. So this particular graduating class has some special sentimental meaning for me. I gleaned much from many of you when we learned together at the middle school, actually. As someone who had taught high school English for 15 years, imagine how humbling it was to receive the grade 5 French immersion students from my English language arts class. You taught me so much about wonderment, about passion, about motivation, organization, or lack thereof. So much so that in my work every day, I remember your enthusiasm and energy and how important it is for me as a teacher and as your principal to always be open to the possibilities for engaging you every day in my work, just like you did for me as those keen little grade 5 7 years ago. To see you here today as graduates is just delightful. The culmination of your educational journey today, your commencement, is a new beginning. The predictability and comfort of your high school routine is about to end, and you'll be embarking upon this new phase of your lives. The people you've come to count on, the places you frequented regularly like Tim's or Starbucks, the challenges you've confronted and overcome, they're now going to shift to new people, new places, and new challenges. Fortunately, for the time you've spent at Springbank Community High as Phoenix, yes, exactly, you've been well prepared for the next step. Many of you, it's further education. For some of you, it's the world of work. And some of you are going to be far-flung corners of the world as you travel and adventure. Your entire educational career, and in particular, your last 4 years, have helped prepare you for this time. But it's not only been the work that you've done at Springbank High to prepare you for this new and uncharted territory. It's also the work that has come from the people who support you and love you. Navigation of School has been a carefully constructed ensemble effort, with you as the central character, of course, your parents and friends as your supporting cast, and the staff as your producers and directors, telling you what to do, goading you, encouraging you, critiquing, and ultimately relishing this moment, this performance, when you will be on this stage. The support of the people in this room, in your lives, whether it looked or felt like, because I'm sure sometimes it didn't feel like we were being supportive, is what has and will continue to serve you well. I've said on a lot of occasions at Springbank High, I want you to continue to surround yourself with people who help you be your best, people who know you and care about you, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. So be good to yourself by ensuring that the people you spend your time with who help shape who you will become also want the very best for you in all aspects of your life. Make sure that that Phoenix pride that you know, that you've cultivated during your time in high school and all through your educational journey, where you focus on integrity, commitment, honesty, and passion. It's something you live and you apply to your future. We've witnessed your pride at Springbank Community High and in the greater community. You have stellar academic achievement, regularly exceeding provincial standards. You have award-winning art, music, and drama. You have had athletic triumphs on the court and on the fields. And through your personal and leadership development, you have impressed us all. You've supported our school, local and global charities like the Mustard Seed, Kissarooney Girls, Free the Children, and you have left a legacy as grade 12s, honoring your late teacher, Mrs. Jessica Reynolds, and the Canadian Cancer Society. Whether it's near or far, you are already taking your place as productive members of society. And it was Harold Taylor who said it best when he said, "The roots of true achievement lie in the will to become the best you can become." My challenge to each of you individually and collectively is to do just that. Be your best every day. That's something that you can achieve. As the class of 2015, you can always rely on what you know. Wherever you go in the world, you will always be Phoenix. And you and your classmates have that common bond. And I'm going to have one little activity where we're going to share this moment, and I'm going to ask all of you to stand right now. It's just the kids, folks. But it's nice to know that you are paying attention. All right, graduates, I'd like you to just grasp the hands of the people standing beside you, please. And I'm going to ask you, now that you are supporting one another, to just take one really small little step forward, please. This step you have taken, like those before it, comes with the support of your classmates. Now drop your hands. Make no mistake, the rest of the steps that you take in your life, they'll be supported, but the decisions you make are now your own. Don't worry, you're going to be great. You can be seated. On behalf of the staff, this is just a wow day for us, I have to say. I'm sorry, and I told Natasha I have no Kleenex. That was a bad move on my part. It's been our honor and privilege to work with you. And to see the wonderful young people you've become. It's my Zen moment. Anyway, congratulations, you guys. You look marvelous. And have a great day.
Thank you, Mrs. Davidson. He is a master of his profession, and he has perfected the teacherless environment. He teaches a class based on numbers and variables. Yet, despite this, he is one of the most loved and respected teachers by students and staff alike. His quick wit and humor keeps us all laughing and waiting for more. It gives me great pleasure to introduce this year's guest speaker, the one and only Mr. Sean Carter.
One thing before I get started, this morning, unfortunately Bridget couldn't be here, but she did say, she did say as she was leaving, tell him I said hi, Daddy. So hi from Bridget. Okay, so hello, class of 2015. I must say it is a real honor being here to be chosen as your guest speaker this year. Over the years at Springbank, I've been MC on numerous occasions, but guest speaker, that's a whole new level. I must admit, I'm pretty much equally parts grateful and terrified to be up here right now speaking to you all. When I first accepted this honor and started thinking about it, I was thinking, my first thought was, what's my theme? I need a theme. You can't give a grad speech without a theme. Should I read some Dr. Seuss? How about some words of wisdom from Winnie the Pooh? You know, true, I did use that theme last year as an MC, but, you know, unless you had an older sibling, you probably wouldn't know, so I could get away with that. So I'm trying to figure out what I should say, what my theme should be, and then I'm having a conversation with some of my kids about this, and they just say, you know, Carter, it really doesn't matter what your theme is, just go up there and be funny. That's why we voted for you. And if you can give us some words of advice along the way, that's good too. And I thought, well, I can do that. I think I can do that. So basically what I'm going to do is just share a couple of stories from my own life and what I learned from them, and you know, and hopefully they will be somewhat humorous. Failing that, I'll probably just shamelessly pander to the crowd in order to get some cheap applause. So that's the other way I'm going to go today. Okay, so I think Mick Jagger said it best when he said, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need. One of the reasons I'm standing in front of you today is that I used to be a really terrible teacher. I have not always been the finely honed weapon of pedagogical instruction that you see in front of you on a day-to-day basis. And I know what you're thinking. That's impossible, Carter, you're probably saying to yourself. You know, how could you ever have been less than the perfect combination of mathematical gift-giving and beardness that we come to know, nay, expect and rely on a day-to-day basis? But it's true. It's true. You see, I was hired, clean-shaven, straight out of university many, many years ago. I had a degree in mathematics and another one in education, and I felt pretty good about who I was and what I had to offer this fine profession. I accepted a job at a different board, and I was teaching grade 8 math and science, and I had some grade 5 options, which included things like design and construction. Now, basically grade 5 design and construction consisted of, you know, watching little Timmy burn himself on a daily basis with a hot glue gun. Like, every day he would grab it by the wrong end. Anyway, I thought it was a pretty easy gig, and the year passed. And when it came time for my year-end review with the principal, the conversation went a little bit like this. Principal, so Sean, how do you feel the year went? Me? I think it went pretty good. To which the principal replied, I cannot disagree with that statement any harder. Do you want to know how bad of a job I think you did? Not really at this point. I think you did such a bad job, I'm letting you go and I'm moving Bob into your position. Bob from phys ed? Jim Bob? He said, you know, I really think he's just going to do a better job at teaching math than you. Well, suffice to say, I was a combination of stunned, hurt, and quite frankly, a little in disbelief. In a lot of ways, it was kind of like being on the wrong side of a breakup. I kept thinking to myself, you know, they'll come around. They'll realize they've made a horrible, horrible mistake, and they'll come crawling back all apologetic like. Well, sadly, July turned into August, turned into September without that happening, and I realized I need to move on. So I applied to this glorious division at Rocky View, was offered a job at Chestermere right away, and I went forward with the intention of being the best teacher I could be. And the rest, as they say, is history. A few years later, I transferred to Springbank, and today, I'm standing in front of, if I'm being honest, probably the best looking grad class I have ever seen in my life. So that experience taught me two things. One, it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. And two, you know, life doesn't always go the way you plan, but you know, that's okay too. I think in a weird way that admittedly is very non-mathy, that, you know, sometimes life just has a way of working out the way maybe it's supposed to. The other piece of advice that I like to give to you is to never stop learning, no matter how old you are. Always learn, whether it's reading a book, taking a class, or even watching a tutorial on the YouTubes, just do it. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and try something new. Go outside your comfort zone because, you know, it's really easy to just stick to things that you're already good at. You know, at this point I could talk about how last year I started taking guitar lessons with my daughter, or show you this. As I'm very proud of this. This is my ID card that says I'm a graduate student at the University of Waterloo, which, as a math geek, has been a dream of mine for some time now. You know, thank you. That wasn't meant to be shameless pandering, but thank you. I'll take that. You know, and it's scary, like being a student again. You know, after all these years of being on the other side. You know, staying up late, studying, working on assignments, not knowing if you're going to get 50% or 90%. Like, I don't know if any of you know this, but sometimes being a student is kind of stressful. So I could tell you all about that, but I won't. Instead, I'm going to tell you about the time I joined a drum circle. So a few years ago, a buddy of mine calls me up and asks if I want to go out. It's a Friday during the summer, so I'm like, why not? What do you have in mind? He says, let's go to a drum circle. What? He says, let's go to a drum circle. I've never been. It could be a lot of fun. So I'm like, hey, okay, why not? So we go to the drum circle. We get there, pay the equipment rental fee, and the lady in charge there tells us, grab an instrument and join the circle. Just sit down anywhere. Now, to say I was out of my element is a huge, huge understatement. I look around at the people beside me, and I'm feeling so out of place. Everyone is dressed in robes or these open flowing shirts with bright colors, and there's this guy sitting on my left, and he's got this chain with a huge elephant head pendant on it, and I'm sitting there with my recently washed hair and my clean clothes, and I'm just kind of wondering, like, how am I going to fit in? And this was pre-beard, so you have to picture that. So the lady who's running the show, she starts explaining. She says, the drum circle, it's a judgment-free zone. It's like a safe area, and I'm like, that's very reassuring. As she explains that, once the music starts, she goes, well, just let yourself go and just let the rhythm take over. We're all individual parts of the greater collective, and there's this going to be synergy that takes over, and magic will ensue, or something to that effect. At that point, I kind of zoned out because I was really just staring at this elephant head pendant. It was magnificent. It was like that big. But then she ended with, she just said, just remember there's no wrong way to drum in a drum circle. Perfect. Okay, so the drumming starts. And, I'm pretty hesitant at first, naturally. I start feeling it, start tapping on my drum, and, pretty quiet at first, but then with a bit more confidence. I'm getting more confidence, I'm playing louder, I'm just moving, and, by the end of the song, I'm feeling really good. Second song starts, I just jump right in, I got my eyes closed, I'm just banging away, and I'm like, okay, I get it, this is okay, I know what's going on now. And then Elephant Pendant leans over to me and says, you're doing it wrong. I said, well, but the lady said there's no wrong way to do it. He just looked at me and said, yeah, you're just doing it wrong. So that day I learned that I am not a good drum circler. But you know what, that's okay, I don't have to be. It was a fun evening, I still had a great time, it made for a great story, and heck, it ended up giving me some material that I was able to put for this speech, so that's a plus. I think TLC really missed the mark when they said don't go chasing waterfalls. I really do think that everyone once in a while should go chase a waterfall. Now, as a disclaimer, I do need to say that's a metaphor. That's a metaphor to refer to what I was talking about earlier. Please don't anyone go actually chase a waterfall in real life. I don't know what that would look like. Sounds dangerous. Just metaphors. Okay. Okay, so that brings me to the conclusion of my time here. In closing, I will deviate a little bit from my theme, and I'll speak just a tiny bit from my heart. I do in fact have one. And I want you to know that I've really, really, really enjoyed the time that we've spent together. Whether I've taught you, coached you, been to Europe or New York with you, or even just getting to know you by seeing you in the hallway and chatting, it has been an absolute pleasure. You, sorry, I didn't not mean to get emotional, but you're the reason why I do what I do, why we do what we do, why we're here today celebrating your success. And You know, there is an old cliche that does say that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I mean, is that 100% true? Sure, we do work. But, you know, of the many things that I love in life, mathematics and hanging out with really cool people are two of the things that I love most. And, you know, my job lets me do that on a daily basis, and it is really a blessing, and I feel very lucky and fortunate for that. The days that I'm just not 100% jacked just to be at school and work with you, you know, those days are very, very few and far between. You know, I love my job, and I do love you all very much. Thank you for allowing me into your lives, and thank you for asking me to be here with you today. Thank you. Have a great rest of your ceremonies, and enjoy your day. You've certainly earned it. Congratulations, Springbank Community High School Class of 2015. I'm good.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Now I would like to ask Mr. Lucas to come to the stage to introduce this year's valedictorian. Mr. Lucas.
All right, Mr. Carter, where are you? No Star Wars references? What was going on? By the way, I'm not graduating today. I've graduated several times, and in fact, for a while there, my parents were asking, when are you going to stop graduating and actually get a job? When we were lined up outside there waiting to come in here, some students were making fun of me for this hood, and one student suggested that if I pulled it over my head, I could pretend to be a Sith Lord. Listen, you dropped the ball, no Star Wars, I picked you up. Okay. I am very honored to have the opportunity to introduce this year's valedictorian. I've never been fortunate enough to have this student in my class, but he has been an integral part of our school's football team for the past 3 years, and I am the head coach of that team. His dedication to our team stood out. His hard work allowed him to become an excellent player, and it also set an example for all the other players to follow. He was entirely unselfish, putting team concerns ahead of his individual goals, and this reflects his impact in other areas of the school as well. His teachers speak glowingly, both of his academic abilities and his impeccable character. He's perhaps best known throughout the school for his comedic and dramatic talents, and he's going to further explore these after he leaves our school. It is rare to encounter a student who encapsulates the wide variety of values that we encourage and try to develop at Springbank, but he is one. We're going to miss him, but we're definitely happy that he's been among us for the past 4 years. This year's valedictorian is Christopher Buchanan.
A lot of people. Thank you, Tony, for that kind introduction. I was going to make a joke, but that was just too sweet. Integral part of the football team is clearly used broad. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to welcome everyone, faculty, family, friends, guest speakers, and of course, the Springbank Community High School graduating class of 2015. It is an honor to be named this year's Pope. But in all seriousness, I'm eternally grateful and privileged to be this year's valedictorian and to have the opportunity to ruin your graduation ceremony. The way I see it, a valedictory address can go 3 ways. 1, you remember it forever because it completely bombed. 2, it was mediocre and you forget about it 15 seconds after it finishes. Or 3, you remember it because it inspired you and made a lasting impression. At this moment, I can guarantee at least a 1. Please do not hold me to anything more. Now, the speech was originally an hour and a half, but Mrs. Davidson made me take out the swears, so I'll put it to about, and knocked off at least an hour. We'll see how it goes. Right. Well, it's finished. Gone are the days of stressing over position papers and reading comprehension tests. You know, when you think about it, it really is an amazing feat. Stop. It's an amazing feat what we've accomplished here. I mean, for 13 years, we showed up to a specific destination, we checked in the morning, we went home at the end of the day and answered to our superiors all the time. I mean, we're never going to have to do something like that again, so. Yeah, work. Through these long years, we've received endless support, encouragement, and these won't even matter in 10 years from those around us. And I believe it'd be unfair not to recognize these contributors. Let's start with the friends, as they are occasionally called. We've laughed together, and this has been said, but for the most of the guys, we've cried together. We've shared Google Docs and Tetris battles, but tooth and nail, we have crawled together to reach the top of the mountain that is the public education system. So after this, take a moment to thank your friends for the memories we've developed over these past 4 years and many more. I know I would if I had any. And we can't forget about the faculty. I mean, these guys were the top suppliers of stress and turmoil in our lives. I mean, you know, at times you may have quite literally concocted plans to remove them from the equation. But there's no denying that they've also given us knowledge and sacrificed lunch hours so that we could fit in last-minute test questions. And while they'll argue that at some point in our lives, we'll have to analyze sources and develop a relationship between them, false. They mean well, and who isn't going to miss the friggin' minuses? And Tony Lucas's rushed intercom announcements. Senior football team, please meet outside. There's a fire. It always sounds like there's some kind of, anyways. So thank you, faculty. Lastly, we arrived to the parents. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my mother is definitely crying right now, and rightfully so. I mean, parents, can you believe that 13 years ago you were getting ready to send your baby off to school and send them down on a path full of memories and experiences, victories and defeats? Now your mothers are crying as well. So, well, it's a train wreck. So thank you, parents, for putting up with the late night studying sessions, mood swings, and voice cracks. Without you, there truly would be no Springbank rich kid stereotype. It is necessary, however, to go to Springbank in order to understand Springbank. I entered this community later than most, at the start of the 10th grade. It quickly became clear that these were individuals who had grown up around each other and for the majority of the time cared for one another. Like a small, lonely creature resembling Gollum, I crept through the hallways, sticking only with the select few I knew through hockey. One day I'd lost enough common sense and built up the courage to test out an impression I'd been working on through the summer. This impression was that of the Batman villain Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Soon people I'd never seen before were pestering me to embarrass myself in front of them. And at that point, I realized what a truly incredible and welcoming family this school is. Everyone was so interested when they didn't need to be, and everyone was so kind when they didn't need to be, and that's why I love this place. The people in it made it my home when really I was an alien, kind of like the people of Earth did to Superman. So, do the math. So thank you all for accepting me and having the decency to make fun of me, at least behind my back. Now I know what you're thinking. Kid, let's cut it with the comedy routine. The future of these children are in your hands. Please take this seriously. To that I say, you know what, Dad? Please, 5 more minutes and I'll get to something. Now, standard speech writing formula states that I'm supposed to inspire and excite you through thought-provoking wisdom. The reality of it is, I'm not Matthew McConaughey. I can't get up here and say, all right, I got 3 things for you. Listen up. Listen good. All right, I got 3 things to make your life dandy. That's right. All right, all right, all right. That's all there is to it. That's all there is in this juncture. Thank you. All right. No cliches in this speech. But cliches in speeches such as these tend to be associated with overarching topics such as life and dreams. I think dreams are important, but it's not really within my jurisdiction to tell you what to do with them. And if Leonardo DiCaprio taught us anything in Inception, it's that dreams are unpredictable. Dreams change. And if I discuss dreams in this speech, much like the end of Inception, you might begin to wonder, is this really a dream? So life, on the other hand, is a very broad term. Some of you might be thinking, what do you know about life, Christopher? You spend more time building Lego Batman sets than you go outside. And to that I say, okay, but I've opted to talk about aspects which make up life rather than life itself, in order to save you from falling asleep. To start, I think it's important to have a plan. A plan doesn't need to be certain. We don't need to fixate on specific days or events that are necessary to complete our plan. Rather, they should serve as a sense of direction. A great man once said, "It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan." Plans are places we want to be but are unsure of the paths that will take us there. And a plan will serve as the framework for what I discussed today. Within your plan, I see there to be at least 3 major aspects. The first being choice. These are decisions or outcomes that are entirely within our control. I mean, think about it. Tomorrow, you could literally say, you know what, I'm going to go to clown college tomorrow. I'm going to become a clown, and I'm going to name myself Barnaby Clownsworth, and that could happen. You could do that. And if at least one of you is inspired to be a clown after today, I will view this speech as a success. The thing about choice is that they can be deliberated too much. Our generation is one where a text message reading fine is considered the equivalent of thermonuclear war, when it should be the opposite. So when we're faced with a choice, let it sink in. Don't be so quick to cancel out one option, because at the time it may not seem right. There's a quote from the game BioShock that says, "We all make choices, but in the end our choices make us." I think the decisions we make should reflect the individuals we are on the inside, regardless of how ridiculous it may seem. If we make our choices keeping in mind our end destination, they might contribute to the completion of our plan. However, if they do take you to jail in Las Vegas, I claim full responsibility. Now, this is where things get weird. The second aspect are ninjas. Yeah, ninjas. For much like ninjas, there may be negative events that transpire in your life that catch you off guard. Ninjas that come out of nowhere. Ninjas will seemingly ruin any plans for the future, quickly placing shurikens, or ninja stars, in a circular pattern around your chest. So how do you deal with a ninja? How do you move on after a problem arises? Unfortunately, I'm not Doc Brown from Back to the Future. I cannot travel through time and tell every one of you how to deal with these ninjas. What I can tell you, however, is to be the Spartan. Spartan? Christopher, are you feeling okay? Maybe we should take you to the hospital. After my speech, Mom, please. You see, anyone who's watched the pilot episode of Deadliest Warrior, you will know that the Spartan beats the ninja. Not just with brute force and sculpted abs, but with strategy. You have to see the ninja for what a ninja is, a minor setback. Unexpected problems may arise that in the moment seem like the end of the world. But think of it like high school. 5 years later, you'll look back and be, I was really worried about that. There's no rush to get to your end destination. Take a second to understand the situation and what wisdom you might be able to gain from it. Ninjas may pop up, yes. They may be fast and very well might be deadly. But remember, you have 299 other Spartans with you, so don't be afraid to kick it into a pit and yell, "This is Springbank." The last aspect I want to briefly touch on is unique to every individual: passion. No one tells us what passion to pursue or how to go about doing it. We do. You see, passion is kind of like Mount Doom to our plans. It was there at the beginning, and you know it's there at the end. I think our passions can give us hints towards the future and to our aspirations. We feel it when we're talking about something we love or playing a sport, or in my case, when I'm in my parents' basement, because I know that's where I'll be in 30 years. In a world of unknowns, a passion is a detectable certainty. So whatever your plan is, your dream, your passion, make choices along the way that'll further it, and stay away from ninjas. Now, to close, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm an emotional guy. I cried 5 times on my second viewing of Interstellar, so that's going on my tombstone. But the reason this room isn't drowning in my tears is because I'm confident in the future and that all of you, regardless of the path you're taking, will excel. Be passionate, find something you love, and chase it. It'll keep you busy. I want to take a second to remind all of you that your critique for my speech is to be uploaded by 8 a.m. on Monday. And thank all of you for not throwing rotten fruit at me. To conclude these addresses, most rely on quotes by great individuals such as Dr. Seuss or Steve Jobs or Mother Teresa. I've gone a different route. An unexpected one, but nonetheless, hopefully an inspirational one. It comes from a great man many of you probably do not know. His name is Jor-El. He is Superman's father, Kryptonian father, of course. Here it is. You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders. You see, I think this class is ahead of the curve in one way or another. I mean, we set the bar high here at Springbank, and sometimes that can be hard for others to reach. It may take a while for the rest of the world to catch up, but in time, after stumbling and falling, they will join us in the sun, and we'll welcome them. So Springbank, as a class, as a community, and as a family, let's go out and accomplish wonders. Thank you.
Yeah, that was something else. I think he might have hit number 3. On behalf of our school and Jostens, Christopher receives a commemorative valedictorian ring for, what? Yeah. The ring. The ring to rule them all. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, thanks so much.
Congratulations, Christopher.
Thanks for those inspiring and entertaining words, Christopher. Next up, we have the grad video that was produced by Mr. Luke Jackson and Mr. Christopher Buchanan. I'm going to sneak down so I can watch this too.
Welcome to Springbank, better known as Rocky View number 44, where the sun is always shining, our football field is an old parking lot, and the scenery is outstanding. I mean, we have the Springbank wetlands right beside us. Yes, that's really them. Our school atmosphere is incredible. Look at our record-breaking audience at this year's opening football game. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, our high school is truly a marvel. I mean, where else can you find a mascot made only from thrift shop materials? But our school holds several mysteries that only those who have graced its hallways have access to. One might say they are #JustSpringbankThanks. These include deep questions such as, why is the library or Learning Commons called so many different names? Does anyone even read these time-exhausting forum posts? And most importantly, does Tony Lucas own anything other than this hoodie? The true test of a Springbank individual, however, is to recognize what is happening in this shot. That's right, Tetris. But in all honesty, you're going to miss this place. I mean, how fun was this, am I right? Every day, after school, hours long. And the teachers, well, we can't forget about those great people. So thanks, Springbank, for the memories. And congratulations on graduating. You did it! Now for an embarrassing montage.
Look at me and listen close, so I can tell you how I feel before I go. Just a year, it's not much time for me to show you I am proud that you are mine. I wish I had known in my heart was just about to start. Say tomorrow I can follow you there. Just close your eyes and sing for me. I will hear you, always near you, and I'll give you the words. Just sing. Just close your eyes and sing for me. Just close your eyes and sing for me.
It was nice to see Karis and Alana studying biology in that video, and how smoothly Obina came down the castle slide ride built for 5-year-olds. The passion and talent that these young men have for filmmaking is very apparent in this video. Thank you, gentlemen. And for another form of entertainment, we have our own Cole Rushka, aka Cole Bradley, to perform one of his songs.
Go Hawks, man. How's everyone doing tonight? We good, Brian? Sound coming out? The guitar? We good? Right on. I remember my first day of grade 5. My sister made me do a Hairspray duet with her, like from the musical Hairspray. And my friends have been chirping me ever since. So I guess this is my last chance to redeem myself. That ice felt good on worn down skates. Freezing cold, we drove to the lake. But that frostbite was bittersweet, waiting for the sun to rise. Best friends talking about the memories you made. We couldn't believe that we were graduating. The wind and the days were slipping away. That moment felt so alive. If I could bottle it up, I'd have a stash in my truck, splash in my cup, and never get old. One little sip, just a taste on my lip. I'll be taking a trip wherever I go. I guess when life's good, sweet, blessed, does it ever really get better than this kind of buzz? If I could bottle it up, if I could bottle it up. That year, me and my grad class did it all. From skipping one day to grad kickoffs. From what I can remember, we lived those nights and woke with some regrets. Driving at lunch with all my bros, listening to gangster rap on the radio. When KT rapped Drizzy, I couldn't hide my stupid smile. If I could bottle it up, I'd have a stash in my truck, splash in my cup, and never get old. One little sip, just a taste on my lip. I'll be taking a trip wherever I go. I guess when life's good, sweet bliss, does it ever really get better than this kind of buzz? If I could bottle it up, if I could bottle it up. Yeah, I drink it down, and I'd pass it around, pass it around. 'Cause life will sneak up on you fast, and when life pours out the good stuff, you just can't make it last. And that moment in time will never end, 'cause I'd do it all over again. If I could bottle it up, I'd have a stash in my truck, splash in my cup, and never get old. One little sip, just a taste on my lip. I'll be taking a trip wherever I go. I guess when life's good, sweet bliss, does it ever really get better than this kind of buzz? If I could bottle it up, if I could bottle it up, if I could bottle it up, I'd have a stash in my truck, splash in my cup, and never get old. One little sip, just a taste on my lip. I'll be taking a trip wherever I go. I guess when life's good, sweet bliss, does it ever really get better than this kind of buzz? If I could bottle it up, if I could bottle it up, I'd bottle it up. Thank you.
It's easy to tell that Springbank has produced a lot of talent. Thank you, Cole. Now it's time to get your cameras out as we make our presentations to the graduates of Springbank Community High School as they cross the stage. Our assistant principals, Ms. Lyons and Mr. Frederick, will be assisting in the presentations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the Springbank Community High School class of 2015.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Where are we, Cole? Okay, so we're going to cue them. Yeah, I guess we're going to stand. So we're about ready for a photo op, so if we could get all of the grads to stand, please. Mr. Matthews needs his camera, so just hang tight. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3.
Sam, did you find yours? Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of Springbank Community High School 2015.